What is the most insane family drama you have seen unfold at a wedding? I punched my brother in the face and broke his nose at his wedding. I know that punching my brother was fundamentally wrong, but I genuinely feel it was deserved and I want to apologize for it. Some background for the story. I've been married to my wife for 2 years now, together for 4. Kate, my wife, is an amazing, selfless, beautiful woman, but she has been through a lot. She was raised in an abusive household and has been sexually assaulted twice in her adult life while she was in college. When we met, Kate was finishing up her senior year of college. Not long after we started hanging out, she went through a deep depressive period. She started self-harming, and my best friend and I convinced her to get help after a particularly scary incident. So she went to a mental health hospital for a few months to start the process of working through her past traumas. I visited her every week and called her daily to check in and remind her I was there for her. Most of my family would get upset when I talked to them about Kate. They couldn't understand why I would want to be the support person for someone with such deep issues when we had just met. I always told them the same thing. I couldn't explain it. I just felt such a deep connection to her. I was so impressed by how amazing she is after going through everything she did, and that regardless of what it was, I wanted to be in her life. And so I told them they should get used to it. When I say I would do anything to make this woman as happy as possible, I mean it. She's earned it. She has worked so hard to be where she is, and I'm so unbelievably proud of her. Kate is now a happy, confident, self-assured person, but she still has trauma, and she still lives with it. I help her however I can to make that weight less heavy for her. I'll admit, a few times over the years, I've had to cancel family plans because of Kate having a panic attack, or just being in a more vulnerable position and needing a quiet night in. It doesn't happen often, and Kate has always reached out to my family after to profusely apologize and ask for a good time for us to reschedule. A week ago, my brother got married to his now wife. Everything was going fine, it was a great wedding, and the reception was going really well. Kate was having a blast dancing with my sisters until one of our cousins accidentally tripped and knocked her over. He fell on top of her and Kate had a major panic attack. The cousin tried everything he could to help, and there were no hard feelings there. Kate apologized to him for scaring him as well, and he just joked, saying it was a good excuse to learn how to use his 2 left feet. But my brother freaked out while Kate was having her panic attack. I was trying to soothe and calm her down, and he was screaming at us to go somewhere private if she was going to cause a freaking scene. Kate was crying hysterically and completely reliving one of the worst moments of her life, and he was yelling at her. I was so mad, but I had to calm Kate down. So I picked her up and carried her to a quiet room and stayed with her until she was okay. She felt so bad and kept saying over and over again that she ruins everything, and kept apologizing. I told her that what he did was unacceptable and that it wouldn't have been a big scene if he didn't make it one. She can't control her panic attacks, but he can control his outbursts, and he made it way worse for her. I was still really pissed at him, but I told Kate that I would go and talk it out with him, so that's what I attempted to do. Him and his wife were both really angry that she couldn't make it to another room before having a breakdown. I tried to take a few deep breaths and explain that she can't hold in a flashback. I explained how they just happened, and that she hasn't had a serious panic attack in over a year, so it's normal for them to be more intense. I asked them to put themselves in her shoes and how upset they would be if someone was going to hurt them, and they were terrified, and instead of helping, I yelled and berated them for being afraid. My brother said that that's different because that would be them in a real situation, and this was all a fragment of my wife's issues. But this was real. What she went through happened to her, and during her flashbacks, they feel just as real as that event, so it is the same thing. I said as much, and that they aren't being fair to someone who has always gone above and beyond to be nice to them even on her hardest days. One of my sisters said that my brother was being a jerk, and to stop being a drama queen. My brother then blew up again and got in my face. He said if I hadn't married a delusional girl who got messed up and broken by some other guys, his wedding wouldn't have been ruined. I lost it. I punched him and broke his nose. He fell on the ground and started crying. I got in his face and told him that he was more messed up than she will ever be. I told him that if I ever found out he talked about Kate that way again, I would break a lot more than his nose, and I left. My parents tried to calm me down and said what he said was messed up, but that none of it was technically untrue. I flipped out and told them if they genuinely felt that way, then I never wanted to hear from anyone who thinks that. She doesn't need that in her life, and I don't need people who don't respect and care about the best thing that has ever happened to me. I know hitting him was wrong, but Kate has been scared, depressed, and in pain. However, she was never messed up or broken. The insinuation that the strongest person I've ever met is nothing more than a broken dish that needed to be glued back together pushed me over the edge of being rational in that moment. My sisters and the majority of my extended family are on my side, but my parents, brother, and some of my other family members are really angry that I would hit him on the best day of his life. However, he made it one of Kate's most embarrassing moments, and I won't forgive or apologize to him for his actions.